episode 75. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We got Superman, we got Unnatural Order, and we have James Bond 007. Let's check them out right now. Alright, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as I rant about movies and television shows and comic books, as well as board games. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. If you want to check out something I've written, I have plenty of stuff on Amazon. But also, you're in luck because we have late pledge right now for my vampire mob set in 1950s, Lords of L.A. It's got plenty of fun, and the description below has the link, so if you can help out there, click the link below, and it'll take you right to the Go Fund My Comic site, and you can help out with any amount, and that would be awesome. And I do autograph the printed ones, of course, and you can get issue 1 and issue 2. So let's jump right into Superman. So what's going on with Superman right now? I believe this is by Joshua Williamson. It is. And so this is the storyline of Lex Luthor is in prison. He has left LexCorp to Superman to run. So apparently he's becoming like Bruce Wayne. And so instead of Wayne Industries, now he has Supercorp, that's what it's called, instead of LexCorp. So he's not really running it, but he can if he wants to. Mercy is pretty much doing that. And then on top of that, he's got all of these guys after him because they want him to join their little club to punish Lex Luthor. And he unleashed a thing called the Chained. And you have this androgynous character in a wheelchair, Dr. Farm, and stuff to that effect. So, and they have long nails, and they have all of the different kryptonites and the long nails, and all this stuff going on. And Marilyn Moon Knight and Superman went back in time to the Old West for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So when he comes back, he's met with these people that are basically, look, you either join us or you die kind of thing. And they filled the entire room with kryptonite gas, which is weakening him. Okay, so keep that in mind because that is going to be important for my note later on. And that's Lena Luthor being held captive there on the side there. So that is Lex's daughter that I guess was raised by Brainiac. That's why she's got the Brainiac symbol there. And you'll see it right here. And she's questioning Lex Luthor, who's kind of dressed almost like a Kryptonian in this case. I'm not sure I like that little suit that only has one side that has a strip on it. I mean, I know what they were trying to do, but I don't think it came off well. It just looks weird. And they probably should have given it boots or something because it doesn't look right. But anyway, that's her grandmother, which is Lex's mom, who's basically been, babysitting her this whole time since she came back from Brainiac, and he's been in prison, etc. And Mercy is trying to track down Superman, who has disappeared at this point, to go to the past. So this is all like a flashback to while Superman was having fun in the Old West. And they look at the fingernails that are all different types of kryptonite. And Lex is pacing back and forth in his cell. Lois is none too happy. She's like, what do you mean you lost my husband? What is going on here? And then we get a big explosion. We have someone in a Lex suit come out. And we realize that it's Grandma. Grandma, what are you doing in Lex's suit? Why are you blowing people up? He's like, I'm being disrespected. Don't disrespect the Grandma. And she runs out and runs into Superman, who had just at this point, this is where the last issue ended, with him coming back from the past, coming to Supercorp, and immediately getting attacked. So that's where we are right now. So now we go back to the beginning, where the room is filled with kryptonite gas again, and Superman is weakened. So he's like, I'm never going to join you people, etc. And is this where it happens? I'm not sure. But, oh, yes. So she hits him with the red kryptonite, which gives him anger and rage. Okay, so it's almost like the rage ring kind of thing. But remember that the green smoke is still there weakening him. Okay? You can see it. But yet, in the next page, since he's raged with the red kryptonite, he automatically can get out of there with super speed. What? What? He's weakened. That means he doesn't have super speed right now. He's dragging his ass along. But no, because he's enraged, he can just use his superpowers now. That he's got the... big mistake there. Big mistake. So anyway, he brings Lex out of prison to them. And the green smoke is still there. And she's like, no, Grandma, you're being mean to Superman. Don't be mean. And she's like, yes, I'm going to be mean because I'm going to get what's mine. LexCorp is mine. And Lex says, well, if you enrage Superman, that's not what anybody wants. Because if he's enraged at me, guess who else he's enraged with? And she's like, or he, I think it's a he. Either that or it's a very naked she. He blasts the nails off. And I guess he starts fighting them all. And he's going, Luthor, I'm going to kill you. And Luthor's like, no, you're not, because I have an insurance policy. I'm going to hit you with this green kryptonite. And now he gets weakened again. I'm so confused by this. So the gas wasn't enough. Nope. Now it has to be a stabbing. This needed to be thought through just a little bit more because there's just too much going on. And then we get this flashback to when they were younger. And that's where it ends. So... yeah, it's a little bit discombobulated here, guys. I'm thinking that this thing is a little bit off, and so it's okay. It has some good action in it, but I think it's just kind of all over the place at this point. It needs to get reeled back in. It's kind of getting too far out there, and he's not following his own rules. And you got to follow as a writer. You've got to follow the rules of your world, because just like I'm pointing that out, I'm sure somebody else is pointing that out, and then you're already suspending disbelief as a reader by saying a man can fly, a man has super strength, a man can go back in time. We're already, got all that disbelief, but when you start breaking the rules of your own world, now you've just shattered even that disbelief. So we're like, well, if you're not going to follow your own rules, then why are we reading this? If you can't keep track of your own rules. So yes, that goes down the meter for me. All right, so let's go jump into Unnatural Order. This is a 40-page book. The first book by Christopher Yost was put out for free, and it was I think just as big, like 40 pages. But it's a 40-page book for $4.99. Yeah, this for 20 pages. Superman was 20 pages for $4.99, which I think is a ripoff. And especially if your writing's going to start dropping. And then you have Unnatural Order for 40 pages for $4.99. That's a big difference. So this one here is about this guy that has become like godlike in the real world and has now created a fantasy world on another side of this portal. And so we started out with this party. It's almost like a D&D type party made up of like barbarians and a Roman soldier and like an elf, etc. And they were all hunting this guy down because they all know he's the baddie. But it didn't go very well. And then when they go to find the guy that they think is the key to defeating him, It's a guy that's dressed like a regular current day military officer or a military soldier. And they let him loose, and he's now with them running around. All right, so right in the beginning here, I don't know why he did this. So in the first panel, you see her badge. But yet, right underneath that, he explains what the badge says. We already can see that. We don't need it twice. And so I guess this is one of the people that created this thing. And we have, she comes in and she goes, they immediately, harbor her saying, okay, we got this going on. And she's like, I just want my cup of coffee. Please be nice and say hello to me, and at least before you start asking for stuff. So this is the bad guy, and he comes out and he confronts her. Then we switch out to the fantasy world where the fantasy team and Murphy, which is the soldier, are being chased by a group of fairies. Okay? I'm not kidding. So he's like, that's not what fairies are supposed to look like. Those things are scary. And so they're killing the things right and left. He kills it. He grabs it. He stabs it in the head. And the barbarian guy goes, you just stabbed it in the face. That's good. Good job. So the other magic user girl is not happy with him. She feels like he is a fraud. And she keeps calling him out. And she says she doesn't like him. And she doesn't like anything that he's talking about. He doesn't believe that there's other world. That this world has changed. And this world is fictional. And blah, blah, blah. And she keeps calling him out on it. Then we get to cut to the scene where this tree is holding this dude. And we got this kind of ring wraith looking thing holding him down. And then the guy comes out, which is the baddie. And he changes him into whatever the hell that is, vampire thing or whatever else, and he tells him to go hunt down Murphy. So then we switch back to Murphy, and she's still complaining about him. The woman does the protest too much kind of thing. And they get to this other area where they're finding people that are kind of all over the place in pieces. And this guy's about to get killed by that ring wraith looking thing. And of course he's got to intervene. It looks like they're pretty captured there. So we have these couple of people that are questioning him, and he tells them that they're going up against the baddie, and they're like, well, we are too. So if you guys are going after them, then go get them. But then the guy shows up, and I guess they've known each other before he was changed. So he's like, he turned me into some kind of vampire guy. I have to kill you because that's what he commanded me to do. So they're like, okay. And they get on the boat, and they get out of Dodge. So now they're on the boat, and they're doing the regular D&D kind of trek there, and he's checking his phone. Of course, he has no signal, but he's got information on the phone saved. And they get to the Vale, which he's telling them all we have to do is cross over, and we'll cross over into the real world. And the magic user is like, no. When we do that, we're all going to die. And the barbarian's like, is this true? Are we all going to die when we go across there? And they called him. He's like, I'm not from Ethiopia. And they're like, well, we're going to rest here in the meantime. If we're going to have to go across that veil and be dead, then we might as well eat first. And I'm not even kidding. So he's like, what are you looking at there? Blah, blah, blah. And she tries to kiss him. And she's like, no, I have a wife. And she's like, what are you trying to do? Or that's what he says. And then I guess whatever comes out of her, he's like, oh, I tried to get him, blah, blah, blah. All that magical stuff happens. But his poor phone gets broken. No, my phone is broken. Oh, sorry, he was looking at pictures of his wife and stuff. That's what he was doing. And then we got this flashback of him with his wife when he was leaving on this mission. And this guy brings back food. And he's like, well, we're hungry. Here's our food. Like, what are you talking about? And then this big monster comes up. And they're like, holy shit, what do we do? He says, go get your boomstick there, your thunder gun or whatever. And he's like, yeah, no shit, I'm going to get it. So he's firing at the monster, and it's like, ah! And then she goes, get out of the way, I'm going to take care of this. And he throws a grenade at it. So they're running because it didn't die. It just gets really messed off. So they go across the veil, and they end up in the other world, but there's a lot of just destruction going on and stuff like that. But he was right. They did change back. And now the whole team looks like that. And they're like, what's going on? I felt this issue was, the pace of it was very slow. There wasn't a whole lot of new information going on. We already knew about most of this. And I still like the story. I still don't know what the villain is, or where they brought him from another dimension, or, how is he that got this power, and, all this stuff, and how did his power get unleashed, that he was created a whole other world where people went across this border and then changed. All very interesting stuff, but I think the pace of it was only okay. I think this could have been paced a little bit differently. We had the fight with the fairies. We had the fight with them. They're sitting at the campfire. And I know that he was kind of pushing it out because he wanted to end it with them crawling across the veil. But I think that he could have ended it, a little bit further into the story and just brought some of those pages back. But anyway, I like it so far. I'm really interested to see where it goes now. I kind of like the contemporary versus mythological back and forth. So let's see where it goes. All right. Jumping into James Bond the 007. All right. So this is by Garth Ennis, who is a great writer. So this was the story about... So Bond is brought back in because they found something was stolen from them. A weapon was stolen from them that freezes people, but then the frost immediately melts, and after the person is dead, so there's no evidence of what the murder weapon was. So it was a technological thing, and it was stolen. They send him after it, and we get this weird beginning portion here with him and Moneypenny, and she's laughing because he's on a bus, and he says, I don't know, I'm on a thing called a bus. It's kind of weird. He's pissed off too because there's a screaming baby there, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to kill the baby. But anyway, we have a lot of wasted time here, and Felix Leiter calls him. That's the FL. He's getting chased by a bunch of people, so he tosses his phone on the ground, and they're like, oh, what, we followed the phone voice. We're not very smart. And of course, he comes up, shooting. This whole thing is one big fight scene. So he's shooting people. They're shooting back. He's using them as human shields. All this stuff going on. He's like, the guy's getting shot up, and the guy's like, you're still alive? What? Why are you still alive? Oh, well, at least they're going to end it quick. The guy's got like one eye blown out. I don't know what's going on. He jumps down on top of a guy to shield his fall. Oh, he jumps down multiple levels and then lands on a guy. That's what it was. Yeah, so he lands on a guy and he breaks his eye out and he's shooting things. Again, like I said, it's one big fight scene. And then the cops come in, so he lights a cigarette and raises his hands. And then we're back, he's just talking about the fact that he was attacked, etc. And all that stuff going on. And then I guess there's something in space. I missed this part. Because there's something in space, and so this guy, which is M, is talking to Moneypenny and saying, well, if we didn't know Bond well enough, we would think that it was like a 10-year-old boy, and he was just using this as an excuse to go into space. So we see this countdown of this rocket, and Bond is on as an astronaut. What? First of all, this is supposed to be grounded in real life. So, do you know how much training it takes to go into space? You just don't hop into the cockpit of a rocket and take off. This is only issue 2, and this is going downhill quick. I mean, quick. I don't know what Garth Ennis is thinking here. So let's recap real quick. So this is, so far, that's a no. I'm going to keep collecting it, but it's a no. Unnatural Order, I like the story, but this particular issue was kind of a letdown. And we're in issue 3, but we are doing 40 pages apiece. And Superman, yeah, not liking that either at this point. I thought this was, I don't know, a lot of people liking this one, but I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence. So I'm on 3. Unnatural Order, I like the story, and I think it's going to be a contained story. So I think that would make a decent film so far. I'm still waiting to see where that goes. But the other 2 right now are no's for me. So, yeah, not a good adaptations into film until you probably will never see them being adapted. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I appreciate that. Also, if you can give me a thumbs up or the middle finger, whatever way you like it, I can take it. But if you can't subscribe, that would be awesome too. I'm trying to grow the channel out, and if you like talking about movies and comics and things like that, this could be the channel for you. And hopefully I didn't annoy you too much. All right, so remember that Lords of L.A., my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood, also featuring Marilyn Monroe. Of course, it's in the 50s, so I have to have Marilyn Monroe in there. But it's a vampire and vampire action. We got bloody of blood, sex, and fangs. It is a mature book. Check it out in the link below at the Fund My Comic. It's pretty much the first link there when you look at it. All right, and also Mark Spears and I are working on a card game based on his classic monster art, and it is called Myth Lords, and it is a deck builder area control game. We're all going to be launching it on BackerKit in the next couple of months. I am going to be heading to Gamma in a couple of weeks, right after my birthday. All right, and again, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out some of my other videos as well, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, bye-bye.